Hello and very warm welcome to the Arise interview, 60 minutes of big questions about the big stories from the news and beyond, with fresh insight and critical analysis. I am Christian Ogodo. Thanks for joining us, and we're live in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Coming up in the next hour, he's a top political player with intimidating credentials, dogged in pursuing weighty infrastructural projects, most especially in the railway sector. Many say he is the brain behind the re-election of the country's President Muhammadu Buhari and has been marked by insiders as one of the best within the Executive Council of the Buhari-led administration. Doing more with less, he's been described as dexterous, always doing night inspection on projects and pushing contractors to the limit. Today, we'll be speaking to Nigeria's Minister of Transportation about his achievements and the challenges in the transport sector. Rotimi Amaechi, coming up in a moment. From all indications, the suspension of Adams Oshiomhole as national chairman of the governing All Progressives Congress has not brought stability to the party, so far anyway. Many Nigerians, rightly or wrongly, had seen Oshiomhole as a major obstacle to stability in the APC, but it now appears the party's crises are deep-rooted and beyond the suspended chairman. The latest round of crises is in Rivers State APC, where two factions of the party clashed over an alleged plot against Mr. Amaechi. The first group, known as the NLC, is threatening to burn down the state if the minister faces humiliation. The second group, however, has rejected the threat, describing members of the NLC as miscreants and ethnic irredentists.
If they do anything against His Excellency, Right Honorable Rotimi Amaechi, we are going to burn down Rivers State. Yes. Yes. We are going to shut down every federal agency, every multinational company. We are going to destroy everything and put Rivers State in crisis. Yes. We are going to tell them that Rotimi Amaechi is not a man that they can toy with. Yes. And we will make sure that any person who wants to die, that we are going to die with him. Yes. And any person who wants to live, we are going to live with him. Yes. We are warning Maguru Sabe and Iga Aguma and all of them. They say that they want peace. What is their business with what is happening in Edo? What is happening in Edo has exposed them and exposed their allegiance and people they are working for. As it stands now, if they want to leave, then they should be cautioned. Because we will not be alive to see them to be alive to do whatever they want to do against Chibikado to be Amaechi. It is either we all die together and forget about Rivers State, or we harmonize in peace. We are saying it now that it has not happened. Whoever that we sympathize with, whoever should start down. The President of Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, should talk to the Chief of Army Staff now. Should talk to the Inspector General of Police now. Should talk to DSS now. Should talk to the Chief Justice of the Federation now. To caution Rivers State Judiciary now that it has not happened. Because if it happened, we will destroy everything in Rivers State. Yes.
We have seen and watched a viral video all over the internet claiming that they want to destroy Rivers State, Rivers assets, and some indigenes of Rivers State because of party differences. It is not Amaechi's position. Amaechi, we know, is peace-loving. Amaechi is a Democrat. Amaechi does not encourage brigandage. Amaechi does not encourage all kinds of heinous activities and crimes to disturb the state. We do not know those young men. The people you're seeing here are the leaders of Amaechi's team in APC, Ikure local government. Yes. And we want to use this opportunity to disassociate ourselves from that viral video that a group of young men who belong to one youth organization called NLC We do not know them, but as Ikwere people, our son's name have been mentioned. We are here to tell the world that we are not in support of that level of madness. But we support and stand by our leader, Rotimi Amaechi, and we believe that the processes involved in politics, they have ways of doing them. If you want to go to court, if you want to do whatever, you want to take positions, those things have processes, and we stand by the processes. So we dissociate ourselves from this stupidity, from a group of young men, miscreants, ethnic irredentists, wherever they are coming from.
Well, I'm very delighted to say that the man at the center of all that video, Rotimi Amaechi, Nigeria's Minister of Transportation, is right here with me in the studios. Very warm welcome, Minister.
Thank you very much.
The two groups have spoken. You've never been known to be imbued with such ideological characteristics with the length of time you've been in politics. The man at the center, what do you have to say to that?
Let's start with the rules. What are the rules? I did speak to your colleague when he came to invite me for the interview that no politics. But because of the kind of words used in this video, I may have to address the issue.
Absolutely.
First, the university has gone down so badly. That's what my lecturer when I was in school used to call abysmal failure. So badly that it doesn't look like the state I left how many years ago. I've not been to Port Harcourt since, when last was I in Port Harcourt? Maybe January, I can't remember. When was the last election?
The last election was last year, in 2019.
Okay, so since then I've not been to Port Harcourt. And I don't know what, I don't believe that that's the right process. I believe that no matter how angry you are, no matter how much the institutions are manipulated, let me tell you what a judge said. The judge said, I'm allowed to be wrong. That's why there's a court of appeal. That's why there's a Supreme Court. So if you think that what is happening with the state judiciary is wrong, then you go to court of appeal. Then you go to the Supreme Court. Ensure you exhaust the due process. However, what you see there is frustration, where people just sit down and churn out orders from here and there. You wake up, nobody has been served, you hear orders. But despite that frustration, nobody has the right to take the laws into their hands. First, if you say you're my supporter, you know that I don't like anything. I don't respect the law, I fear the law. Because actually, breaking the law can put you in jail. And like I said, for the past 3 years, I've not spoken. I've been quite out of the public scene because my desire is to focus on development. My desire is to ensure that by the time I leave the office, my children, my supporters, my friends will be proud of my achievement with the support of the president. So I don't engage in politics. For now, I'm not a politician. What is happening in APC, I don't know. What is happening in River State, I don't know. And believe me, I don't want to know. So I don't go there asking that question.
Minister, you're putting a caveat. You know,
I did that caveat before I accepted the interview.
Yes, very well, very well. We're just going to take it because all Nigerians are worried.
About what?
The number 3 citizen of the country, for example, Ahmed Lawan, the president of the Senate, when he visited the president and he granted an interview and said, look, whatever happens to APC affects not just the government, but the entire fabrics of the nation. APC is a ruling party. You are one of the leaders of APC.
Me.
In River State, you are the leader.
I have no number. Thank God you called number 3
Yes, yes,
I don't have a number.
I know.
Numberless.
You've played a critical role in the party.
That's history.
Yeah, that brought Mr. President for his first and second terms.
That is history. It's for the children to study it and go to school.
You cannot extricate yourself from the crisis in the party at the national level and in some states.
I have done that. What I have done is to keep away completely. Nobody will hear my voice.
You are not bothered about it?
No, even if I'm bothered, it's internally.
You're not preferring advice on how this is going to be solved?
Adults, there's nobody there who is a child. Everybody who is involved there is an adult. I don't want to get involved in politics. I don't want to be a politician. I want to, Nigerians know me for being blunt and honest. Some see it as arrogant, some see it as brash, some see it as useless, whatever it is.
But you're swallowing your tongue right now.
No.
Nigerians will want to see the length.
Just let me repeat what I tell people. What do I need to say that I've not said before? Name one.
Maybe you've not
one thing that you see.
You've not talked about this crisis.
It's not new. It's internal dynamics of politics. It's power struggle. So I have said it several times. When we fought in 2015, I said this country cannot continue the way it is going. I've said that several times. What new? It's like when I went to Professor Wole Soyinka and I said, look, we need to lead a protest about what is happening in the country. He said, my friend, I'm 80. I think he was 80. I can't be in the front. Because you see, it gets to a point where you know that you've contributed, just like Professor Wole Soyinka has contributed to the growth of the country. And if the country is not moving forward, what do? You want to die there?
You just put your hands akimbo?
Sit down, look. I'm not helpless, but I'm sitting and I'm looking.
That's the great saying of late Justice Minister Bola Ige.
Don't look. Because you see, if I come out, I told you before here, I said, this is not the state we left. This is not the state Okilo governed. This is not the state Spiff governed. This is not the state Rufus Ada George governed. It's not the state. What do you want me to talk about?
So things have really gone awry, even in your own state and at the national level, in your party.
I don't know what you're talking about because I don't want to get involved. I don't know what is the reason for the crisis. I don't know why the crisis is existing. First and foremost is, you know, what happens in politics, that in Nigerian politics, you hardly have opposition. When people are hungry, they catch the next government. You can hardly have opposition in Nigeria.
But you were in the opposition party before you became the ruling party.
I've never been an opposition man. I was speaker, I was governor. From governor, I became minister. I never entered into any position.
Okay, let's leave politics,
exactly.
Aside, politics, because you're not really willing to say much about it.
My publicists will be so shocked to even hear I made this comment. The only reason why I responded to this comment by this young man, I think they're all my supporters. Both those who made the comment and those who countered them are all my supporters. But I think the other reason is to tell everybody who is supporting me to please remain calm and get out of violence. Never be part of violence, because I will not defend anybody when you get violent. The law will take its course. Whatever is happening, if anything goes wrong in the High Court, you go to the Court of Appeal. If anything goes wrong in the Court of Appeal, you go to the Supreme Court. But don't you ever take the laws in their hands. Just like my children will not do that. My children know, all my kids know that listen, my brothers also know that I'm not a man who will come out to subvert the law. So I will not come and help you if you're my brother or my son and you take the law into their hand. I feel the pain they feel. I honestly feel the pain that the first set feel. But it will handle differently.
What's really this pain? What's the pain, really?
You say there's crisis now. I feel the pain. You know, everybody wants to see that there's a smooth party, everything is going well, and we're planning what happens in 2023. We're not even planning anything. So, anybody who is a member of APC, when I say the pain they feel, anybody who is a member of APC must feel pain that there is a crisis in APC. Whatever is the reason for the crisis, I have no idea, believe me. I am doing what they call sit down look.
All right, you're still going to sit down here with us, Honorable Minister of Transport. We want to take some messages, and when we return, we'll go deep into your schedule in the Transport Ministry. You're still watching the Arise interview. We've got plenty more still ahead. Stay with us. You're welcome back to the Arise interview with me, Christian Ogodowo, live in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Most notably known as the Railway Minister for his uncommon contribution and commitments to ensure there is an affordable, cheap and easy transport system in Nigeria, his strategy is simple: linking vital cities in the country with a rail network and linked to seaports. There is no doubting the fact that to fix the transportation deficit in Africa's largest economy is capital intensive. It is not a day's job, but will take resilience and outright commitment to tackle it. And that's the hat Rotimi Amaechi wears. Despite several bottlenecks, he has been able to oversee the construction and completion of some rail lines. Rotimi Amaechi has once said he needs about $45 billion to put to rest Nigeria's transportation problems. But in the face of looming insecurity in the country and Nigerians unable to make use of most of the trains due to high-level banditry, what's the fate of the country's transportation issues? I still have the Honorable Minister of Transport with me. Let's start first. Railway, you're very passionate about it. I mean, just like that intro says. 45 billion naira. Where are you going to get that from?
That's a big question to answer. It's a very difficult one to answer because I like to say this, and I know the response Nigerians will give to it. When we had this money, what did we do with it? There was a time we had this money. There was a time we could have built all these rail lines. So when I said I needed 45 billion naira, I needed 45 billion naira to be able to build the rail lines to connect nearly all the cities, state capitals in Nigeria. Some may be economically viable, some may not, but at least you have a network. And as they grow, and as the economy grows, they become economically important. And what will enhance the economic development of such areas is the fact that they have transport network. Okay, take Zamfara, for instance. They have gold. When you discover gold in commercial quantities in Zamfara, how do you move it? By air, by sea, by road, by train. It's the easiest form of movement. So if we had that money and we're able to move, to construct such rail line to all the things in Nigeria that we have, then you can move all those natural resources to the seaport. That's why the president insisted that all rail lines must terminate at all the seaports. So you have rail lines terminating at Warri, you have rail line terminating at Port Harcourt, you have rail line terminating at Onne, you have rail line terminating at Calabar, you have rail line terminating at Apapa. In fact, we're connecting Apapa now to Tinkan. We are studying what to do with the new seaport in Lekki and how to link it with the train. So basically, the essence, the passion and the interest of the president in constructing rail. I'm just a minister of transportation. The man who drives it is actually the president. It's he that decides to release money to the Ministry of Transport, ensure that his focus. He just gives me a directive that he wants to be briefed every 3 months on the achievements we've made in terms of the construction of the Lagos, Lagos Kano. He wants to know that we finished Lagos Ibadan. He wants to know that we've commenced Kano Kaduna, which we're about to commence before. We must commence Kano Kaduna before September. This year.
Even with the COVID-19, is it not slowing down?
Completely. COVID is, but if not by now, we would have been on site, if not for COVID. But the way we're looking at it, we're meeting.
Tell us some of the challenges now that may hinder, the projected timeline.
For Kano Kaduna, we need over 10,000 workers. But certainly you can hardly even have up to 1,000 workers. Because imagine you with 1,000 workers on site and the fact that these 1,000 workers, even if they are all negative, how do you know that somebody will not come to infect, or when they close from work and they go home, somebody may not be infected? If one person is infected, the rest workforce. So COVID is affecting the workforce. COVID is the reason why we have not hit Kano Kaduna. But like the president, even though he did not say it, but the implication of that directive is that, are you saying that because of COVID we would therefore not construct? Are you saying because of COVID we will not eat? Are you saying because of COVID we will not employ people? So you as the Minister of Transport and the contractor should go and fashion out a way in which you can commence construction. What have we talked about? We're having a conversation with the contractor on how to reduce the 10,000 workers to 1,000 workers and put them in a camp in such a way that they go to work, they return to the camp until their services are no longer needed. Then we hire another 1,000. That way you are able to keep a workforce that are healthy.
And essential. Okay, Honorable Minister, I don't know if this government had ever thought of the intermodal transport system. You've talked about rail linking the ports, that is one level. We're not talking about rail linking the airports, and at the same time, like you have the Nigerian Shippers Council that has been talking of dry ports too, like the one in Kaduna and the one in Jos, although they are highly underutilized or probably they've not even come to fruition in any way. Is the government thinking along that line, intermodal transport?
I think you can answer that question. First, the airports are functioning, and then there's a rail line from Abuja that links you to the airport in Abuja.
Just one.
You see, I like Nigerians. They forget too quickly that there was none before we came. Don't forget that. Don't forget that there was no functional inland dry port. Don't forget. Now, we are about to conclude our conversation and enter into a contract with a Chinese company to build one in Ibadan. The one in Kaduna has been completed and it's functioning. You see, we are also forgetting that Nigerians don't manufacture, we only import. So what I mean by that, the production is very low. When they say don't manufacture, it doesn't mean that we don't produce anything. We do produce some things, but not enough to drive export in the manner that we want to drive export so that the economy can grow. So we have one dry port in Kaduna. We're constructing one now, or we're trying to conclude the agreement to construct one in Ibadan. The one of Kano, the person who got the concession has suddenly renewed his interest to commence work in the one in Kano. The one that is a bit worrisome is one in is it Isialangwa or where?
Isialangwa, yeah.
That's a bit worrisome because of the crisis there. There's one in Funtua, which is also a bit worrisome. They've not gone back to site. I don't know whether we should call them in and give it to somebody else, or give them a charge to go back and construct that. I've told you here that it was the president's idea that all train lines must terminate at the seaports. Okay, so you can see that from all the contracts we are awarding, all of them are terminating at the seaport. There's a new contract that is before the Bureau for Public Procurement, the Port Harcourt-Maiduguri rail line that crosses through the southeast down to Maiduguri.
Yeah.
That one too is terminating at Bonny with a new seaport.
What's the state of the Eastern Railway line?
Now.
Yeah.
Now, well, I can't say it's with the DPP because they just queried us and sent back to us to respond to the query. So it's back to our office to respond to the query raised by the Bureau for Public Procurement. When it goes through that process, it will go to Cabinet for award. Well, once they award it, we finish our responsibility. There are many responsibilities for the contractor to raise money and commence construction. There are two things to know about the Eastern Line. The first thing is that what do they call it?
Dualized.
No, not dualized.
The standard
the standard gauge
yeah.
cannot come now. The standard gauge is about $11 to $12 billion. And under COVID, how can it raise?
Why is government not doing a PPP in all of this?
As a journalist, please name one country where there is a PPP in railway. One, including America.
In Italy, a Nigerian businessman just bought Italia Rail. He's a private man.
Yeah. He didn't buy Italia Rail. What he bought is operational license to put his track, to put his
own trains. He's not constructing
exactly.
new tracks.
So
the tracks are there already.
So we're talking about tracks. I say name one country in the world, including America, that has done PPP on earth with building of. What you hear, even it's everywhere. That one's everywhere. It's in the UK. It's in America, where private companies buy coaches and locomotives to put on the government track. We've been approached. If not for COVID, we were talking with a company in Nigeria, but has an affiliation with a Russian company that were to bring rail buses. Rail buses are like mere buses. They drive it on top tracks. And we are ready to go on with him on the Lagos Ibadan. So that's not the problem. What the problem is in construction. So when you talk about why can't we do a PPP, when can the person recover the money? 200 years, you will not recover the money. So imagine the investment of $12 billion. When are you going to recover the money? $12 billion. $12 billion should be in the neighborhood of nearly 8 to 10 trillion naira. By that time, your children will have been old men.
Okay. The Eastern Rail, we know some time ago, before this administration, there was an award in that corridor, well over 300 million. Is there anything on ground to show for it?
Well, that's for EFCC to investigate. There's actually nothing on ground to show for it. It was awarded to Lingo and others. And I don't think it was executed. It was abandoned. We are talking with the contractors that we are giving those contracts, and mostly Nigerians. There's also some foreigners, but mostly Nigerians. And please tell me one Nigerian that has the capacity to construct railway. One. There is none, but unfortunately, some of those.
That's a huge indictment on the Nigerian Society of Engineers.
No, they don't own companies to construct railway. There is none. If not, we won't be going outside the world. We won't be going to China. We won't be going to Europe or America. We'll depend, and that's one thing we must do. We must be able to build our own technological capacity to be able to construct railway in the next 10 to 15 years. We can't continue to depend on outsiders. And the Nigerian Society of Engineers have the capacity, but they don't have the financial wherewithal.
The banks are not helping.
I just told you here now that The contract from Port Harcourt to Maiduguri standard gauge will cost you about 12 trillion naira. How many banks can raise that kind of money?
Okay, let's look at the underdevelopment of the Nigerian ports, the over concentration on the Lagos port, and another port is being constructed again for Lagos. Some people think that's just a waste of money because you have the Port Harcourt, Warri, Calabar, Port Sapele, Cocoa that are underutilized, and to move the congested goods away from the Lagos port. Maybe would take that, you'll be responding to that when we take some messages. You're still watching the Arise interview. We've still got more ahead. Stay with us. You're welcome back to the Arise interview with me, Christian Ogodo. We're live in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Honorable Minister, before we go and talk about the inland waterways and NIWA and the rest, I was asking you about the underdevelopment of the other ports in Nigeria, making, importation and exportation of goods a very cumbersome one with the Lagos ports. They are congested. Goods are not cleared in 24 hours, as they say they will be cleared, or, shipped out.
There are Nigerians who benefit from this security in the water. A lot of Nigerians who get contracts to provide security when some of them are the reasons why there's insecurity. Now, take for example, a Nigerian has an anchorage area. A Nigerian, and Navy is providing security inside that anchorage area, not by government. Now, MPA issues a marine note to stop people from going down. Navy issues a counter.
Where is the role of NIMASA then?
Exactly. The Navy has no role whatsoever. It is purely a Ministry of Transport affair. So what is the interest and what does the man do? If you go there and park your vessel, as you enter, you get $2,000, you pay $2,000. For every day you are there, you pay about $1,500.
To the Nigerian Navy?
No, to the very man who has installed or
put an anchorage there.
Then
in the name of providing security in the waters.
Yes. Then the Federal Ministry of Transport writes to the Navy and the federal government and says, we did not approve. Navy agrees. And the thing has continued because even when we therefore issued a note, I just got the letter today. I just got the letter from MPA. When we have issued a maritime note also saying we don't approve of it, no vessel should go there. And then we get a counter from the Navy.
Saying?
That is approved.
There's a lot of complicity then in the underdevelopment of the ports in
Warri, what I'm saying therefore is that until there's security to the water up to Port Harcourt, people won't go there.
That's what I'm saying. Whose responsibility is it to secure the waters?
Okay, that is the responsibility of the Ministry of Transport. That's the responsibility of NIMASA.
Yes. Now,
NIMASA has no guns, so NIMASA must necessarily work with
the Navy.
Now, but here I'm telling you, instead of NIMASA working, a private individual. So imagine if the man collects $2,000 per vessel for entering into his anchorage area, and there are 30 vessels, and then each vessel pays $1,000 per day. So for 30 days, he makes $30,000. Multiplied by 30 vessels.
And the money is shared.
No, I don't know that.
No, but I mean, if there's complicity, then the money. Honorable Minister,
there is complicity.
Honorable Minister, you're never known to double speak or speak from both sides. Yeah, I'm saying it. I mean, I'm extolling that virtue in you. But say that as it is.
No, I can't say that. Why I can't say that?
Because this is corruption.
No.
This is economic sabotage.
No, well, I don't know about that. What I'm saying to you is because you can't accuse our Navy in that manner. The reason for it is that apart from the fact that they're fine gentlemen, they are providing security in the water. I'm not joking. I know the Chief of Naval Staff. I'm always saying that that individual cannot perform that function because it's not Ministry of Transport.
So who makes it possible for him to perform the function?
I don't know. The point remains that until we provide security from Lagos to Port Harcourt, then the seaports around that area will not function.
There's only one institution that can provide that security that is not being done now. The Nigerian Navy.
No.
They are the owners of the waters.
No.
They complement NIMASA.
No, okay, that's what you can say. Because the Navy provides security in the international water. the blue water. NIMASA is supposed to provide security in the brown water. Now, this gentleman I'm talking about is functioning in the brown water. The MP just complained to me. So if we are not backed by our own security men, then we are helpless. And then you start, what they do is to begin to write petition against me to put pressure on me. So the petition, EFCC, the petition, what do you call this?
ICPC.
Everywhere. So you want all that is to put pressure on the government.
So that you back off.
On the government to investigate me. So I back off.
And you backed off.
Me back off. And so they now make it difficult for the company. Let me tell you what is funny about it. There's a contract of $195 million awarded to a firm in Israel to provide equipment for it. Everything has arrived. We can't function because somebody is trying to frustrate it. So all the interests are trying to frustrate it. But until I'm removed as the Minister for Transport, I get that working.
Have you brought this before, Mr. President? Have you briefed him?
Not yet. Until we've not gotten there. You see, don't rush to Mr. President because if you say then you don't have the capacity to handle your ministry. Find a solution. I think the best thing to do first is to approach the Chief of Naval Staff, because he's also a gentleman, to say, look, I don't think you've seen the total picture of what we're trying to present. I think we need to stop this. Because we've written to the Navy, and Navy has acknowledged the fact that it's only a Ministry of Transport that can set up a self-anchorage area, not an individual.
Okay, let me take you again to KATSINA State, where recently the foundation for the University of Transport was done. Some critics or some, transport experts are still wondering what's the rationale behind establishing a transport university in the Sahel, not strengthening the one in Oron or the new one in Delta State. Then two, how much is it really costing government on this?
Government is paying nothing. Absolutely nothing. And it's a transport university, it's not a maritime university. The one in, where is that? Where is that?
Well, one name in Delta State in
That's a maritime university.
Yeah.
The one in Oron is also a maritime university. This is a transportation university donated by CCECC. They will build all the infrastructures, they will hire all the lecturers, they will teach and manage the school for 5 years before they hand over to us. So what's the problem?
So it's pro bono, free of charge.
Yeah, so what's the problem?
Okay.
You want us to send them back to China? We can. All we've done is to tell them, gentlemen, you can't just dump this technology on us and run away.
Is there a timeline for the completion? When is the expected time?
With COVID? I thought you asked that question after COVID.
So a lot of things are really being slowed down with COVID. But let's go back to the rails. The Lagos-Kano rail is quite expedient for the economic development of the country, and with the lofty plans to link virtually the capital cities in Nigeria with a rail system. But Lagos to Kano, how much is the federal government expending on that project?
Well, for now, I think it's about $8.7 billion, for which we are going to bring our contribution of about $1.something billion.
Have you been meeting yours?
And the Lagos Ibadan, we met all our obligations. We're still owing some money. You heard me say the last time that the president has already released about $380 million out of the $1 billion we're supposed to pay for Ibadan to Kano.
Yeah.
He has released $380 million. Next year, we hope he will release some more money, and by the third year, we should be able to pay some more money. If we don't get to the $1 billion by the third year, then we should be getting close to the $1 billion.
Okay, that's some good news. Let's look at the Nigerian Inland Waterways Authority and why you're talking about dry ports and the rest. The Nigerian Shippers Council, the executive secretary on this program, had spoken about some ideas of, creating container terminals even outside the capital city of Abuja and some other key cities like Ishalangwa that you mentioned and the rest. What are the challenges your ministry is facing in using inland waterways as another means of transportation?
It's difficult. You need to desilt the water from the source of Niger to Bayelsa. And we've done all sorts of desilting, and it's not been easy. Every day it silts back. We've done capital dredging, it's just maintenance. We're still not solving the problem. You need to get that water to flow to be able to do the local transmission that you need. A company called Czech had come to do a study, and they were ready to make their own investment. When they came, they discovered that they said they need us to contribute 600 billion naira to be able to get that to work. And we don't have that kind of money now.
So inland transportation is still going to be as...
To the extent that NIWA is managing it, like in the Lagos area and areas in the south. But you need to be able to do something in the northern part of the country.
Yeah, because when you look from Barrow far to the Benue Trough and down to Taraba and the rest, you would have thought that road transportation of haulage or haulages would be discouraged and concentrate more on that, and that opens the hinterlands.
I don't think that's the quick solution. The quickest solution is the railway. The more railway you take into the hinterland, the better for cargo transportation. Then when you have stabilized with railway, then you can focus on water. I think the president understands that better. That's why his direction is, look, I agree that you do maritime, I agree that you do other things, but I think you need to drive home this railway. So currently we have about 3 or 4 contracts that are ongoing. We have the one from Abuja to Warri. We have the one that we're going to send to cabinet as soon as possible from Bonny, Port Harcourt to Maiduguri. Then we have the one from Kano to Maradi.
Okay, and all these are all going very well.
Well, but ongoing, they are passing through the processes for those that have not been awarded. They are passing through the processes. The one that has been awarded is the one from Abuja to Warri, which the company is looking for funds.
Well, we know that there's been a connection of the rail line from Itakpe to Alaja, and is going to be extended to the Warri port. Is there any plans about, or what is the status of the Abuja Lokoja Warri line now? Anything in the pipeline?
I thought you said you're from Delta.
I am.
They've not told you it's completed.
I know that from Itakpe, that's what I said.
That's completed.
Yeah.
It's completed. Don't forget, it's been abandoned for 32 to 34 years. And then we came and it's completed. In fact, if not for COVID, we were trying to get the president to go and commission it.
It's been running, that I know.
Yeah, it's been running.
Okay. Honorable Minister, we want to take more messages. When we return, we'll continue to interrogate your superintending transport ministry. You're still watching the Rise interview. We've got plenty more still ahead. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Rise interview. As I have as my guest, the Honorable Minister of Transport, Rotimi Amaechi. Well, you're even better known as Rotimi. And some people will be wondering, where did that Yoruba name come from an Ikwere man and the rest?
I'm a Nigerian, that's the answer. I'm not from Biafra, I'm a Nigerian. and Yoruba is part of Nigeria, so I don't see what's wrong with that.
And you see, we're getting a lot of interest about the rail line. Some people are still asking, I'm sure maybe they've gone on our Twitter handle and the rest asking, why does the rail line not crisscross Agbo, you know, Ika, North, Western, East?
The person must be from Agbo.
And that's my chairman you're trying to...
That will lead me to telling you the names of... we've not named all the stations in Itakpe to Warri, okay. But the one at Agbo we named after President Goodluck Jonathan.
Oh, the former president.
So that, and it's the biggest we have in Nigeria for now. Not just the station is small, but we have workshop, we have all sorts of things. We have 1,000 buildings, an estate that contains 1,000 buildings for both managerial, senior staff and junior staff in Agbo. That's why we manage our trains until we finish constructing. We have a similar facility in Lagos, but yet to be constructed. We have similar facility in Kaduna and in Kano, but yet to be constructed. For now, the one that we have finished is in Abo. And the Abo station is named after after the former President Goodluck Jonathan. What we did was to name Apapa station after the former governor of Lagos State, Ahmed Bola Tinubu. Then the Ebute Meta is named after Mobolaji Johnson. Then Agege station is named after Babatunde Fashola. I think the next one is named after Lateef Jakonde. I think other at Agbado also. Agbado, yeah. Agbado. Then the next one, I don't know why I continue to forget that. It begins with Aro. About the one in Abeokuta? No, I got to Abeokuta. The one after Agbado is named after the vice president. But that's where he laid the foundation stone for the factory we are building. All right. Then there was one at Papalanto. I don't know whether one is named after Ransom Kuti, the mother of Fela. Then the one in Abeokuta is named after Professor Wole Soyinka. Then there's one at Olodo. I can't remember who it was named after. Then there's one at Omoy, just before Ibadan. I forgot the name. That one we are thinking there's a debate whether to name it after Akintola or somebody else. While the one at Ibadan is named after Awolowo. Very well, very well said. Let's quickly look at one artery in the port area, the Apapa gridlock. The solution is this rail. Once you take the rail to the seaport, then what are they doing with the road? Just dump your load. But the problem is, you see, for now, it terminates at Ibadan. So people can pick their goods from Ibadan. But by the time we get to Kano, then you will not be needing the road transportation. Even if you do need, the volume of cargoes that would go by road will not be as high. Currently, there are about 30 million tons of cargo in a year that crosses Lagos to Kano. Now, what is the quantity lifted by railway? We lift 200 tons per year. 200 tons. So by the time we fix the Lagos-Kano rail, then even if we don't carry 30 million tons of cargo, at least we can carry up to 10 to 15 million tons of cargo in a year. Is the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation getting some rail tankers for you, particularly for no, we have, not them. We provide, but you pay for the services. What do we have? Oh, okay, but the Apapa gridlock, you just feel that rail is the solution to that gridlock. How else will you solve that? Because by the time you stop using those vehicles, then you use the rail. And once you use the rail, the vehicles will be useless on the road. Maybe you want to revisit the Eastern Corridor again for those who didn't hear. I just told you that the President approved around is it January or last year that we should commence construction of the Eastern Corridor. Which is to the tune of about 12... no, that's what I didn't finish explaining before you caught me. Okay. I said to be able to do the standard gauge is about between 11 and 12 billion dollars. And because we can't raise that money now easily, I then wrote to the President that there's a need to rehabilitate the old line back to narrow gauge. And when we mean rehabilitate, it's not removing sleepers and putting new sleepers. It's to yank off the whole thing, but allow the foundation and build on that foundation for about $3 billion or less than $3 billion. Now you change everything, you build new stations, you put new telecommunication and signals, you go to Bonny and put a new seaport, you come to Port Harcourt and put an industrial park, and then head off to Maiduguri. But around Maiduguri, you branch off at Kafanchan to link up with the standard gauge in Kaduna. While continuing, you get to Yobe, Damaturu, and then to Gashua. Okay, let's look at road transportation. Well, 30% of road transportation falls under my ministry. Yeah, comme ça, whichever way construction, you want to, falls under the Ministry of Works. Management is between Ministry of Works, Ministry of Transport, and the states. Yes. That's how it works. Are you going to employ a PPP for that? Everybody's been talking about tolling. Tolling, again, falls under Ministry of Finance. So it depends on what you're asking for PPP. Okay, what do you think it's the best balance, you understand, to have our roads good again? For us, we make policy. For Governor Fashola, he's been battling to at least fix the old roads built by Gowon. That's where we are now. because the roads have deteriorated so badly that what we inherited is a total failure of roads. So you can see that literally every part of Nigeria is there functioning. Let's start from the Port Harcourt-Enugu road. There are contractors, they are working. It may not be as fast as everybody wants because there's no money. The Enugu-Onitsha road, the Boni-Bodo road, that's in the south. Well, the problem we have is that the East-West road falls under the Ministry of Niger Delta. I don't know what is happening about the East-West road. The last time we visited, I know that I need about 100 to nearly 200 billion to complete that road. But at least you can use one track to get to wherever you're going to in the Niger Delta. But the second one is not completely completed, if I'm not speaking tautology here. But I think, if you ask me, the gentleman in the works department is doing well.
Aren't you going to, you didn't talk about the Calabar rail line too.
I did.
Isn't anyone going there?
No, I did. The problem is there's lack of money. And that's the one that affects me most.
So even the Niger Delta isn't going to benefit so much, apart from it getting to Port Harcourt?
No, we have also applied for about $4 billion to enable us construct. If we can't do the entire Lagos to Calabar, we can at least do from Benin to Calabar. That's what we think. We've applied for loan, we're looking for the money. If we get the money, don't forget, unless I'm removed tomorrow as the Minister for Transport, if I'm still there, I will continue to fight to get the money to be able to do, if nothing else, from Benin to Calabar.
Honorable Minister, I want us to end on this note, even though you've raised certain objections and the rest, but I know a gentleman like you will not shy away from whatever challenges is thrown before you. Yourself and Adams Oshomole, the suspended APC chairman, you've been great partners, working together and friends and the rest. What kind of empathy do you have, for him and the situation in the party?
Why do you want to bring him back into politics? Whatever comment I make will be seen to belong to one side or the other. For me, I want to be left alone as a non-politician. I don't know how to play politics anymore, so I want to be left alone. If I have anything to share with my suspended chairman, I'll share privately with him.
When I knew you several years back, as...
I was in my 40s.
You're not growing older yet.
Yeah, but I'm 55. But I can answer you. It's not that one is afraid to speak.
But would you see him coming back as a chairman of the APC?
I need to be the judge. I need to be the Court of Appeal. I need to be the Supreme Court. I'm not any of those. You sympathize with him? Did you advise him? Did you advise him about his leadership style? But don't forget that I said I've been out of politics for a very long time.
No, particularly that your party lost Zamfara and...
you didn't forget. Don't forget what I told you, that I said I've been out of politics for a very long time. I just told you that I've not been to Port Harcourt from January till now. You're forgetting that? So how would I know what's happening in Port Harcourt? I've not attended any political meeting since after election. How would I know what's going on?
Honorable Minister, very, very warm appreciation for coming to speak to us on the Arise interview.
Thank you, brother.
Rotimi Amaechi, the Minister of Transportation, has been our guest on the Arise interview for today.